Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Kings and Queens of Porn with my lovely co-host Alexa Gray and our
Hey
special.
everybody.
And you want to introduce our special guest tonight?
Our special guest this evening is Jen Cherry from Dirty Diva Entertainment. Hello.
Hello.
I'm
Thanks
so
for
glad.
having me.
I'm glad that you could do the interview because it's been crazy, and I think that what it is after we record them all, we put them on all the other stations that we're on too, and we're going to be switching stations pretty soon, going live. So it's been kind of wild and busy and a busy close up end of the year. So tell me what this Dirty Diva Entertainment's all about.
So Dirty Diva Entertainment is a woman-run company that focuses on the plus-size porn market, from like plumper up to SSW. But I have a few non-plus-size projects. One has recently come out, and another one is kind of in talks. So it may be expanding scope.
Awesome.
Which is super exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It is. Hold on a second. I'm going to put my headphones on here a little bit.
That's pretty wild.
Okay.
So that's elevation. Right. Elevation is good. It's good, and it'll be starting the new year off with some more good stuff. So, when did you get involved with all this?
So I first got involved in the adult market back in 2004, and a friend of mine was in BW porn, and she said, "Oh, a friend of mine is looking for models. You should." I don't know. I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I could do that." Blah blah blah. So she was like, "Well, just come do a shoot with me and see what you think about it." And so it was just lingerie modeling. It was, just pretty pictures. It was before videos became the focus. Like, you could make a lot of money just from putting pictures up.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, it was crazy. And so, especially in the plus-size market, because it was so small at that time. So anyway, I went to the shoot. It was so much fun. So then I started modeling on her website, and then Vic, the owner of Bodacious, found me and asked if I wanted to do a website. And I said, yeah, sure. So met him. He taught me the business. And then a couple of years ago, I decided to start my own business. And that's kind of how it went.
Oh, wow.
In a nutshell.
Now, did you ever do porn yourself?
So I never did hardcore. I did mostly fetish, and I did a few sexual things like on my website with my partner, but it wasn't, I never shot for any other company or anything as far as like hardcore adult material goes.
Right. Now, how did you two meet? How did you meet Alexa?
So I was introduced to her by another model, and then, well, we kind of all sort of ran across her at the same time on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
we were like, wow, who is this hot chick? And then we saw like two profiles, and we were like, wait a minute, is this the same person? And we need to know, because if it is, I want to shoot her.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, yeah, we all kind of ran across her at the same time, and then another model kind of put me in touch with her as far as like shooting and maybe possibly doing a website. So, yeah, just went from there.
That's wild. So, how would you say, like, have you had any obstacles that was like a little bit hard? Because 2004 until now, like some things that had kind of like put you at okay, am I gonna just give up or go through this? Or I see like a lot of people when they start off, it seems like well, I've learned just from working with Alexa that there's a lot of hate in the industry.
Yeah, the first obstacle that I encountered in the industry was when the market crashed between 2008 and 2010, and the tube pipes came out. All that happened kind of around the same time. The market crashed, the smartphones came out, the tube pipes came out, and all of that hit the industry as a whole, like, super hard. So we had to kind of, figure out a new way and figure out, like, how the market was moving and how to continue to make money in the new, atmosphere online.
Right.
So that was kind of the first one. And then the second one, at that time I was working for my ex. Like, he had his adult company and I worked for him. So then when we broke up, I had to make a decision if I wanted to stay in the business or go back to Texas and kind of return back to a vanilla lifestyle. And I was like, well, why do I want to waste, what I've learned in the past 10 years? So I decided to stay in it and started my own company. And that was definitely sort of scary, like kind of stepping out of my box. Luckily I had, models that I worked with and sort of already had my foot in the industry. And so that made it a little bit easier, but it's always a little scary to start your own company.
Oh, I know that.
Yes, for sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
But it was a good choice. We all appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy I did it, and I love it. And I'm still very new. Like, the company, it'll be 2 years in February that it officially started. So it's still very new, and I'm excited about it. Then I guess the only other kind of hurdle is definitely like I guess the drama in the industry, because people don't have the balls to come straight to you or straight to the people they have problems with. They use the internet as like a wall between you and them, so they can say and do whatever they want, or they talk to other people like person to person behind your back, and then eventually it gets back to you.
Right.
Instead of people being adults and being a man or a woman and coming to you themselves and being, this is what I've heard, or this is the problem I have with you. Instead, they all act like they're 12 years old and
can't do that.
Don't know how to deal with adult situations.
No, they're cowards. They can hide behind a keyboard, right?
Right, and it's sad, though. It's sad, and I think it's a lot in the music industry, too. It's the same way. I tend to stay a lot to myself because over the years, like, you get backstabbed enough, and you're just like, you know what, I'd rather just do it alone, because why? You know what I mean? Why get involved? Because so many people are like that. Or they'll ride with you for a while until they learn what they can learn from you, and then go on their own and do something and take the knowledge that they learned from you. And I have no problem building people. I have no problem mentoring people in the industry, but don't just like turn on me. You know what I'm saying? Don't take the knowledge I gave you and showed you and brought you around to meet people, and then it's like all of a sudden, oh, you want to do your own thing. That's great. And I think if women work together more or, supported each other, they just don't realize how much further they can go.
Exactly. Well, I've kind of experienced the same thing over the years, and, I have always been very much an open book with the people that I work with, and I'm like, hey, if you want to learn something, just ask me.
Right.
And because I don't mind teaching, I'm definitely one that believes, if people want to do their own thing, that's fine, but you don't have to burn the people that you've worked with before, even when there was really no problem.
Right. Yeah.
You don't have to
appreciate. My biggest thing is appreciation, though, too. I mean, you wouldn't get to where you are right now if it wasn't for the people that had your back and to help you along. And then for you to go, okay, you know what, I want to move on to something different or something that I feel that, it's business. I'm moving forward. I mean, maybe I've outgrown this, or this is now changing and I need something different. That's one thing. But you don't go and trash down and talk down about the person who helped you get to that place. To me, it's just, I just find that to be one of the hardest, and it's a huge slap in the face of the person who's standing there going, hold on half a second. If it wasn't for my help, you wouldn't be where you are today. So appreciate that. You don't have to agree with everything, but at least appreciate it, And I always say, put credit where credit's due. Kudos to kudos, man. Like, you have to pay that and then move on. But yeah, you don't have to, I mean, the industry is too small. And it's too tight-knit. And eventually, the stuff you're saying, even if it's the people you think you can trust, it's coming back. It's going to get back.
So
my biggest thing is if I can't, for me, I would say to your face. Anything I'm going to say behind your back, I'd say to your face. And I wish there was enough more people that were, and you're much the same way, Jen, I know.
Well, so. I would never say, if it wasn't for me, like, people wouldn't be where they are, because I think they would, but in a different way.
Right.
Right.
I always feel like, yes, I helped this person, but they would have gotten somewhere on their own or with someone else.
Right.
Maybe not on the same path that we took or whatever, but there's no reason to, trash people. Yeah. So, yeah, it's crazy.
What is one of, like, the strangest things you've witnessed over the years? I do this every week. Yeah, I do this every week, and I can't ask you the weirdest request because...
Yeah, Cal has this thing about asking, like, cam girls and enforcers the weirdest request that fans ask for. Popping balloons seems to be a big one right now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I cammed for a long time, and, because I was on the other side of the camera for 10 plus years, and so I had crazy requests. Actually, one of them had to do with balloons. So this one balloon, this one balloon guy wanted me to take a balloon, pop it, and then wrap it around a dildo, and then suck my ass with it, and then send him the used balloon in the mail.
Yeah,
I did not do that.
What did he want you to wrap the balloon around a dildo and what?
Fuck myself in the ass with it.
See, that's what I'm saying.
And then send him that balloon. Mm-hmm. And then send him the balloon afterwards. That'd be a good one. All right, then.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. God, people ask me this question. I know I've had so many crazy stuff. I've had people request, like, crushing mice, which is weird.
Crushing a what?
Crushing mice. Like, stepping on them.
Oh.
Yeah, that was weird. I always say that guys can jerk off to anything, like they do. Like, I've had
I'm starting to believe that.
Anything that you can imagine, I've probably been asked to do.
Wow.
At some point.
I'm the boring one, Kelsey.
This
is the thing. With me, I'm like, I don't get the crazy weird ones. I think mine don't even know they're weird. I had a guy that said to me, can you please get 2 jars of honey and pour honey all over yourself while you masturbate? And I'm like, okay, well, that's a really sticky freaking mess. I'm going to have to do that in a bathtub and whatever. I don't get, like, the crazy balloon. Maybe I'm just too vanilla. Maybe people know that about me. I don't know. But I don't get into the really weird, crazy requests.
I think it's because I was in the fetish market. So,
right.
When you're in that market, you do get the fetishes. And people have every kind of fetish that you can imagine. I mean, guys, I'm serious when I say they literally jerk off to everything.
Yeah, everything. I'm starting to believe that with men, that they will jerk off to anything. I think just all the different things I've heard from, the weekly reviews and all the just different things, and it's like, you sit there and you ask a group of men, well, okay, what's your thing when you watch porn? Like, what do you like to go after, And like you said, they have a lot of different categories that they want to go to. So I'm starting to think, and then the whole balloon thing blew my mind. Just blew my mind.
Kelly, I think what you and I need to do, we need to interview a Dom, because I'm sure there's some really crazy shit out there that says, I know there's like pizza freaking, or there are pastry rollers and cheese graters and all sorts of craziness. So, yeah.
Yeah, the stepmom was kind of weird too.
Well, and what's interesting, I have through the years run across a few women with fetishes, but for the most part, I don't find that women are into fetish stuff too much. Besides the ones doing the fetish for the man that wants it, but it seems like men are more into those fetishes. But I don't know. But
I'd agree with that.
I do too.
There are women that are, but I would say it's more men than women, which is an interesting fact.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't get there's a fetish, because I do really like a man in uniform. Like, this whole cop thing is like, You know, but I don't know if it's a fetish. I think I'm kind of normal-ish.
All
when
right,
it comes
y'all.
to
So
that.
just remember, Alexa likes men in uniform, so y'all can send your, dressed up uniform pictures to her inbox.
Exactly it. That's exactly it. I don't know. There's something about a man in a cop uniform, and then there's something about a man in a great pair of fitted jeans, and a man in a great suit, and maybe a man in like an NFL football jerseys and stuff, like actual players though, not just guys who put on jerseys. Like, you want the real good stuff. Like, I have stuff like that I like. Yeah. I don't call it a fetish. I just go, damn, Yeah. I like that stuff.
That's true. And I think that some men, like you said, you think that they could pretty much jerk off to anything, and it's true. Some men are so like the dick pictures, and they're so predominant about their dicks, and it's like, yo, why did you send me a dick picture? Like, why would you do that?
Well, I do have a theory. I have a theory about this.
Let's hear this.
Oh, do tell. Do tell.
My theory is men would love to get random pussy pictures. They would love for women to be like, "Ooh, I like you here. Here's my pussy." Like, to them, that would be their ideal. They would love that. So in their minds, they're thinking, "Oh, well, if I like a pussy picture, I'm sure they'll like a dick picture."
Yeah, that's probably what it is, because a lot of men do like those pictures. They'll be like, "Oh, well, can you send me a pussy picture?" And I'm like, "What? Like, like, are you crazy? Like, I'm in a relationship. I'm happy. I'm good." But, he's like, "Oh, well, he should thank me for sending you a dick picture because, that'll make you wet when you go to bed tonight." And I'm like, really? Like, get the fuck out of my inbox,
They think that you're gonna, they think you're gonna react to their nude pictures just like they would react to yours. And I think that's why they do it.
Yeah.
My favorite is when they send them to me, and then I screenshot some of the other ones, and I send the really big ones back to them. I'm like, "Oh, you think your little penis is gonna impress me? Check this one out." Or I look at them and go, "I'm sorry, do you not see who I shoot with, and you thought that was going to impress me? What about that is impressive? You should be embarrassed and ashamed to send that picture out. Put your little penis away and stop harassing me with it. Because I'm going to post that all over the internet."
You've got to be careful with that, though, because there's some men out there that enjoy small penis humiliation.
True that, I know.
Yeah, so, like, they want, like, there's people that like dick rating stuff. Like, they get off on women, like, rating their dick and kind of humiliating them or whatever.
I used to have a measuring tape to measure dicks, so that would be something. That's funny.
Yeah. Well, and they do, because I've had that before. It's like, "Can I just send you a picture and you can tell me?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to see it. If I wanted to see it, I would ask. You should pathetic little penis pic."
Especially when they're obsessed with their dicks.
But that's what they want to hear. That's what they get off on. So if I were you, if they're asking that, you'd be like, "Sure, send me $50. I'll tell you what I think of your dick."
Right.
Well, I did. I ended up starting to do that because I'm like, "No way, Maggie." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And that's finally now what I'm saying. It's like, "Yeah, if you pay me for it, I'll look at it. But you have to pay me, right? Because I'm not going to be looking at it for nothing." No, and if they send them just to my inbox, we get blocked and deleted immediately. I don't even respond. So.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't respond to dick pictures either.
Yeah, I don't either. They just aggravate me, so it's like you're not really doing anything. You're aggravating me, so that's not going to get you any brownie points. But I have another question. Now, over the years, you said that you catered more to the BBW and the plumper pass and all that. Have you seen it develop and grow? Because I just got done watching a movie before my last show. And I don't know if y'all heard of it. It's called Dumpling. I guess it's a new one on Netflix. And
I just watched that today.
Me too. So it was kind of. I thought it was great because I don't remember seeing it advertised, but I thought it was great because it's true. You think of all these pageants and girls that were not these Barbie doll thin pictures of their minds. They wouldn't enter. So I really thought that was a good show to motivate younger women, you know what I'm saying, that are in these high school and pageants and things like that, so that they go for it. I really thought that was a good motivation type thing, and it wasn't it was kind of like a weird twist to it. It was open as far as like the
I've definitely watched the plus size market evolve into something that it used to be kind of like a dirty little secret. Guys would look at it and not tell anybody that they like big girls, and they would just, kind of hide. And And but now, I think, and there still are those guys out there that kind of are in the closet with it, so to
Yeah.
speak. But I've watched it grow to where people are more open about it. You see it in TV and movies and songs now, like talking about like big girls. So it's definitely growing. And I think that up until recently, it was, I mean, actually, it kind of still is still an untapped market. Like, it's still something that has a lot of room to grow. There's enough room for whoever wants to get involved with it. It's just about finding the market and getting it to the people that want to see it. So, yeah, I think that it's grown leaps and bounds since when I first started.
Well, that's good because, like, I've always, I definitely see where, you got your men, because I see it on Facebook, they'll make comments, about BBWs and, or they'll show a picture of a big woman and be like, this is what, or they'll make their comments like it's tax time, go get yourself a BBW. And it's like, really, grow up. Like, you know what I mean? The ones that usually put it out, too, when you look at their pictures, you're like, really? You have the nerve to say this? You know what I mean? That's what I feel like Alexa and be like, I bet you got a little penis. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's usually the men that have low self-esteem that I think kind of like push, you know what I'm saying? Because a confident man is definitely not going to care that he's with a plus-size woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's going to go after what he wants, don't give a shit what anybody says. You know what I mean? He's going to do it.
Yeah.
It's the men that feel little about themselves that they have to when they get upset, so, you're a fat bitch or whatever. But it's like, you know what? It's like, okay, but you're with that fat bitch. Or, they got, it's like, I guess, I don't know what they say to the skinny bitches, like, when they're arguing, they got to throw something at them. Probably you're a whore or something like that, of course. But, I don't feel that now, like you said, I do feel that it's evolved because, I did a Google search the other day. And I guess the plus size market is number 2. I don't know how I searched it or but it surprised me because it was number 2, and I was just like,
plus size as far as plus size in porn or plus size as
it was porn.
Stuff?
It was I think what I did was the most looked up categories or something like that. I think that's what it was. Yep.
Yeah. Well, what people don't think about is, all we see on TV or in the movies and stuff is a small percentage of what reality really is. 60 to 70% of women are considered plus size, which is size 10 to 12 and up.
Yeah.
So the majority of women are curvy.
Yeah.
And so, society is getting used to that now because that's what's there in front of their faces every day. And so, I've just found that it's kind of becoming normal.
The normal. Yeah, it's the normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have women like Ashley Graham, who is, on the cover of the Sports Illustrated magazine. So times are changing, and they're seeing that. You have, like, Tess Halliday, who is a size 22 plus size model who is just rocking it, and you're seeing it now, and finally companies, forget porn, outside mainstream, companies are realizing that they need to market their product to the average size woman, which is, in America, the average size woman is a size 14 and above. So if you are only catering to the girls that are a size 2 to size 6 or size 8, you're missing out on 60+% of your demographics. So they're going, okay, and I know as a girl, that size going, hey, you know what, I don't want to look at a clothing line and go, I see that's on a girl that's a size 0. I wonder what that would look like on me. I want to see, like what Fashion Nova has, a whole curvy section with girls who got hips and curves and boobs and bellies and go, that's going to look good on me because that's the shape of my body. Yeah. That's what we want to see. We want to be able to relate to the models that are in the picture, and companies are finally catching on to this. And then it's also great for the men in porn that, that are going, hey, I want to be able to see that too. I want to be able to see that because that's what I find attractive. So why should I only be able to look at girls who are significantly smaller if that's not my taste? Why is there not attractive BBWs out there that I want to look at. They want to see it all, right? So I think it's amazing that the industry and society is actually coming around a little bit slow, but they're getting there. They're getting there.
Right.
Nothing happens overnight. You know, like it wasn't that long ago that you would find an African American on TV. You wouldn't find somebody who's gay on TV or transgender on TV. You're seeing those things now. We're you know, slow coming.
Ladies,
Well, we're getting there.
speaking of that, I have to ask you if you've heard like the newest, I would say, news kind of thing, whatever. I've seen it all over Facebook, but all these Christmas songs that are being pulled off the air because of what they're supposedly subliminally telling everybody.
Oh, the Me Too movement.
I don't know what it is.
So yeah, they pulled what was it again?
They pulled 3 so far.
Baby It's Cold Outside.
Yeah.
That song, Baby It's Cold. So that song was written in the 40s and 50s.
Right.
And basically, it's a song about a man trying to woo this woman because he wants to spend time with her, and she's like, oh, making excuses. But he's trying to woo her because back then, I mean, you didn't even hardly kiss each other before you're married.
Right.
You know? So it was a different time, and people are freaking out about this song. I think that, yes, you should support women. You should support people who have been abused and raped and all that kind of thing. People shouldn't be sexually harassed. All of that. I totally am 100% with that bandwagon. But to take it to that level is just...
Yeah. And I
really
think it's
strange,
ridiculous,
strange
and
thing.
I think it's trying to either, I don't know if they're trying to get society attention and to offer something else, because this is crazy. And then right after that, during the middle of the week, they came out with Rudolph, that they're taking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer off the air.
Why?
Why?
Bullying.
Because he's being bullied?
Yep, bullying. They think it makes escalation of bullying. And then the last one, it really got me because I'm a big Little Mermaid fan, okay? And,
I love Little Mermaid.
all right, the song Kiss the Girl, that's the last one. It's not going to be allowed on any airwaves.
Oh, my God.
Because
You've got to be freaking kidding me.
Yeah, and I'm just like appalled by, like, are you serious? Like, these songs have been around for years, and I don't know anything about this group, Me Too. But, you know, like, I'm big in the music scene, so I look at it like, okay, you have trap music out there saying about, you know, let's go, you know, sell some dope and do this and do that, you know, and knocking females down, basically, you know, my bitch and this and that. But it's like, and then you've even got, like, regular pop music that looks at women, you know, but you're not pulling any of these songs. You're going after ones that have been around, like you said, the one that was made in the 40s and 50s. Like, are you serious? That song has been remade by so many artists. Jessica Simpson was one of them. I mean, there was just so many. And how can you, like, really, like, they're just tearing apart.
You know, here's the thing. And, you know, I feel like, take kids, for instance. When you try to shelter kids, and you tell them, don't do this, don't listen to this, you know, stay away from this, all those things, that kid's going to end up rebelling.
Yep.
Okay? You have to let people experience things on their own and figure it out for themselves. Because if you don't, they're not equipped to handle real life situations. And so, why is the society or media or government or whatever trying to shelter people when if they're being harassed or bullied, why don't you teach them to stand up for themselves instead of running and telling mommy and daddy, stand up for your fucking self.
Right.
Exactly. But don't be sheltering them too. And the thing is by taking things like this off, you're not even allowing people to make any choice and decisions for themselves in regards to how they interpret that song or that situation.
Absolutely.
You know, again, they're not learning to deal. And I personally feel, and I'm 100% with you on the bandwagon of, I mean, if you're a victim, you know, that is, you know, it's sad, and you should have recourse in ways to stand up for yourself and protection against sexual harassment or anything such as that. But I'm at the point now going, this whole Me Too movement is completely and utterly scaring the shit out of men and demasculating them. I mean, a guy can't even open up they can't even be shippers. They can't even open up a door for a woman and they're like, oh my God, I can open up my damn door for myself. You know, it's like, oh, hell no. Like, and then we bitch and complain that men are gentlemen anymore. They don't dare to be. They don't want to sit on the same freaking plane with you. They don't want to be on a conference with you. They don't want to be in an office with you. They don't want to compliment you how nice you look. The society is scaring the shit out of people to even compliment one another.
Yep.
It's getting to a point where it's getting utterly out of control and out of hand. If you have been sexually assaulted, if you've been sexually harassed, there is recourses and stuff to do so. To take those steps, do
Absolutely.
it. Speak up for yourself. That's great. However, do not reprimand and do not demasculate all the men out there who are just trying to be good guys.
Yeah.
And now they're afraid to do anything. You know, it's like, you know, do we have to go Dutch on freaking dinner because, God forbid, I don't want to offend you by paying for your freaking dinner or your drinks. I don't want to think that, you know, assume that anything's going to happen if I put my hand on your leg that you're going to go freaking scream and rape or bloody murder on me because I'm just trying to be a nice guy. Like,
and women have pushed it to that. I don't mean to interrupt, but I have seen where women have cried rape and really weren't. You know what I'm saying? And those men have gone through hell because these women are crying this thing, you know, and that bothers me because I'll admit it, and I don't care that we're on air. I was raped as a teenager, and it is a horrifying thing, and it does stay with you for years, but like you said, there's things to, you know, I went through counseling and turned it into a positive thing. Do I like the fact that it happened? No. But I do like the fact that when I developed and grew through all that pain, okay, it came out where I ended up being a group leader of teenagers that had gotten date raped. So I was help to those girls. You know what I mean? And it's like, but to sit here and say like, okay, Little Mermaid, Kiss the Girl is you know, attempting to make people more promiscuous. If you looked at the movie, you know that it's somebody she's in love with. She's been thinking of him forever. It's not like, and it's just a kiss, and all the little frogs are saying it, and all, like, this is ridiculous what they're doing. I don't know much about the movement, so I can't judge the movement. But like you said, Alexis, there are plenty of resources out there for people that have been abused sexually or whatever. And you know what I'm saying? To get involved in, rather than pick on music. You know, like I told you once before, when I moved down south, the whole church was at House of Blues because Marilyn Manson was about to perform. And it's like, are you serious? Why? Like, I'm not used to this. Up north, people aren't like this. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? And you know, it was the people here that explained to me, you know, it's a very Bible Belt, and, you know, they don't want him performing here. And I'm like, are you serious? Do you realize this man is an artist? Do you realize just because he does all these crazy things in his videos, it's to get attention? That's really not him. That's really not Marilyn Manson. You know, he might be a little bit different, just like Ozzy Osbourne, anybody, but he's a good person. He's not, you know, like, how can you sit there? And I think as a society, it's become so judgmental. You know, and that's like we had discussed. That's why I started this show, because it was such a, you know, a taboo with porn, and I still get slack about it. You know, I still get like, you know, Kelly, that's hurting your other show. Well, you know, I'm sorry if it's hurting my other show, but I don't feel that these people should be looked down on because they decided to do porn in their life. You know what I mean? That's a career.
Exactly. Right. And it's a choice that we make.
Right. And also, you know, I don't care who it is. If you're a man, or if more women haven't watched porn than men, but I would say 99.9% of men have sat down behind their phone or computer or whatever and watched porn.
Yeah.
So, I mean, women is probably a little smaller because I have talked to someone and they're like, no, I don't really watch it. But, you know, the majority of society enjoys porn. They do it, you know.
And they might be closet about it. They might be closet about it, and no, I wouldn't watch porn. But of course, they got this big collection.
But don't pass judgments, right? You want to do it in private and it's a privacy of your own home, then that's fine. But don't pass judgments on the people who are doing it, because somebody's got to be doing it for you to watch it. You know, so don't pass judgment and think that we're less than that. You know, and that's the other big thing that's on right now. I keep seeing on Twitter and all these people like is that Ashley Judd, I think, is going off and speaking for sex workers and things like that. And there's so many sex workers out there going, please don't speak on our behalf until you talk to us first. Because we're not all victims. We're not victims. Many of us choose this. This is a choice that we make, not because we're forced into it.
So what is Ashley Judd
disgusting.
saying?
Right. She's basically saying that all sex workers are basically victims. And that we're being forced in some way into a lifestyle that we don't want to do because of circumstances or whatever. And I'm like, no, absolutely not. There's so many. Again, there are those out there, and I'm not going to say that there's not. There are those girls out there that are forced into it, and they're trafficked into it, and that's disgusting. That's not their fault. That's the people who brought them into that. You go after those people, but don't punish all sex workers, because this is a choice that we make, a conscious effort and a choice that we make. I made this for myself because I wanted to. This is my body, my choice, and I'm happy with that choice.
Right.
But
I've worked with hundreds of girls through the years, and not one was forced into the industry.
Wow.
Not one.
Yeah, I think
the
major thing about it is because of all the sex trafficking. And that's probably why she's keying in, but that's a whole different game.
But the whole thing with that is the sex trafficking has been going on for decades.
Right.
Decades. It's just now, it's more prominent now because, there's ways of getting out and they're catching them. It's easier to catch them now because they can use as the social media and things such as that in order to traffic these girls. So these teams are finding them a little easier, where before it was all underground. If you're oblivious to it and you think that this is all just new because of the internet, you guys are retardedly freaking confused. It's been going on for many, many, many years. However, not every sex worker, majority of the ones, all of the ones I know, but the majority of the ones are online. They're doing it because it's a choice. They pay their taxes. It's a legit job for them. This is something they choose to do. It's not because we're forced to do it. I've never been forced to do something, ever.
Right. Well,
as Judd would know firsthand, I'm stubborn as hell. If I don't want to do it, I'm not doing it.
Sure. But also closing down these avenues for sex workers, they are forcing the traffickers to go back underground.
Absolutely.
So closing Craigslist, closing Backstage, closing these escort sites, all those things, it's forcing everyone to go back underground or back to the street. Now, if they would just legalize it and regulate it and tax it like many other countries around the world do, that would eliminate a lot of these problems.
Absolutely. It's like them legalizing marijuana here in Canada. It eliminates a hell of a lot of freaking problems, and the government gets way more money out of it. So make it so it is known. The thing is sex workers provide a service. Whether you're a cam girl, whether you do porn, whether you're an escort, it doesn't matter what avenue you choose. You're providing a service for somebody. It's like getting a goddamn haircut. I don't see them.
Right.
They don't go after freaking hairdressers. It's a service.
Yeah. Well, I look at it this way. The only difference between me paying a girl to have sex on camera and the girl getting paid by an individual to have sex in private is the fact that I'm taxed on it, and I have to show my work and show the government what I do. But when you are a person to person, the government can't tax it. So I think what it comes down to is money.
And like you said, I believe some of the girls, like my half sister, we just talked about it last night because we had stopped talking for a while, and I don't want to say a long time, but I feel like you got to let things go and move on and all that. So I reached out, and we started talking again, and she was glad. And somehow in the conversation, she has seen that I've been doing radio for the last 5 years, and before that I worked on a corporate level with music. So she was like, Kelly, she's like, and then I seen you do this porn show. She's like, I love to listen to your music one. She says, but I can't listen to the other one. And I'm like, what? She's like, I can't listen to the porn show, and please don't tag me in any of the flyers. She said, because my other half will be really upset. And I'm like, wait a minute. I had to think about it, and I don't think she was trying to hurt me. I just don't think she realized what she was saying. And I said, look, first of all, I said, I'm not involved in porn myself. I said, but I interview a lot of the porn stars because they have lives just like we do. I said, and it's something that they like to do. It's not, I don't see anything bad in it. And I said, how can you say this to me when for 10 years she worked as a PSO? She worked as a phone sex operator. She had 5 girls
Right.
that she literally changed her voice. She was a dominatrix. She was all these different fetish things. And she made money. I mean, I went and slept at her house one weekend, and I heard some of the calls. And I mean, she pulled in a lot of money every month just doing that. And she's had the opportunity now, and I was just like, well, I said, don't worry about it. I said, I'm not going to tag you with anything. I said, I understand the religion thing and all that. I guess her boyfriend is or whatever. And I said, but you got to look at it. I said, for 10 years you did this and you made a really good living off of it. I said, no, it may have not been in a porn film, but you did do the phone sex for 10 years.
It's providing a service. She still provided a service for somebody who's paying for it.
Exactly.
It doesn't make a difference at what level you're doing it. If you're providing the service, then that's what you do. And the other thing, too, is to go back to them shutting down all these the sites, the back pages and Craigslist and everything else. Not only are they forcing the traffickers and the people who are doing this illegally back underground, but they're also hindering the communication avenues between sex workers. So they're actually hindering the safety of the girls that are out there actually working. Mm-hmm. Because that's how they used to be able to communicate with each other and go, hey, if this John calls you or messages you or whatever the case may be, this is what he's into, or don't date him, or don't go out with him because he's dangerous, or he did this to me, or this was my experience. So they're taking that away. They're taking away all the ability to communicate with each other and to let them know, hey, this is not good or this is okay. So it's not a good thing in what it is they're doing. And now, they're shutting down Tinder, and everything. Like they're just,
what does
Instagram has become an absolute. Well, Tinder is now taking off all of their adult content. You can have no more adult content on. No, sorry, not Tinder. Tumblr.
Tumblr. Now that I will admit, there was a very lot of.
There's a lot on there, but they've now taken that down, so you can't have a Tumblr anymore. Instagram has gotten so bad. Like I had a picture posted the other day that they took down because, they said it's pornographic. I'm like, it's a guy with his arms around me.
Right.
That's all it is. But that's pornographic to them. And I'm like, okay, so the video of the guy kind of banging me from behind, that one's okay. But a guy having his arms around me, that's not okay. I'm like, all right, fair enough.
A lot of them is hate, too, like other people that are sending in requests or whatever. Because that happened to me last week. I remember I told you I got banned off of Facebook for like a day or two.
Yep.
Because of some picture I put up. And it was actually one of those cartoon memes. And it was something about, I put it in the porn group because it says something about morning sex, the best way to start the day. And they wrote me a letter saying that was, inappropriate, and I can't post pictures like that. And I had to go, I was being punished. I couldn't be on social media for 24 hours.
And they've gotten even worse now. They've actually tightened them up. I actually sent a post or retweeted a post yesterday that you guys can look at on my Twitter page. Is their terms and conditions have even gotten stricter. Now even artists, they can't even, like, before it was if there was a hand-drawn picture or like an artist picture or whatever of nude, they don't even allow that anymore. It is absolutely taken down, all of it. So it can be a cartoon, it can be a picture, it can be whatever. If there's nudity in it at all, it's not allowed. So I mean, like what are they sheltering? Why? Why so much? And it's just
I think it's ridiculous. Insane for those networks, especially because when you look at the average user on Twitter or Tumblr, they're not kids. You don't see kids messing with Twitter or Tumblr. You know what I mean? You don't even see
but the thing is here's the thing. As a kid or a teenager, you give your kid or a teenager a phone, and they have access to the internet.
Yeah.
All they have to type in is blowjob, porn, sex, whatever. They're going to get everything they want right there at their fingertips. You don't have to go onto Tumblr for it. You don't have to go onto Twitter for it. You just have to Google Pornhub, and everything you want is right there.
And what's funny,
being shut down.
It goes back to what you said before about as far as sheltering children. I had a family member, and I know she ain't listening to my show, so that's okay. But her son, I believe, is, at least 5 years. He's got to be 34, 35. And now that is a sheltered boy. She would never allow him to listen to the radio. She would never allow him to watch different, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, really strict. Now, this boy is 35 years old and probably still a virgin, okay? Because he doesn't have those social skills. I'm not saying that it's right to, push all this, but I mean, like you said, Alexa, I mean, my sons, I know when they got promiscuous, and you know what? People in my family were appalled because I bought them Playboy books and put it in their stockings when they were like 16 and 17.
I would have no problems with that either.
Right. I don't want my kids to...
I go to the store buying condoms.
Exactly.
I don't care. I want to educate my son. I want to educate my children and be like, hey, this is how it's got to be. Don't shelter them. Teach them.
Right.
We as parents, our job is to teach our children, not to shelter them. We protect them as much as we can.
Yep.
We don't. I was raised very conservative Christian,
Me
and
too.
my parents they taught us that sex isn't. My parents at least taught me that sex isn't a bad thing. It's just meant between a husband and a wife, and you are supposed to wait till you're married.
Right.
So I never grew up with that sex is bad type of thing, but it was taught that we should wait. Of course, me and my sisters, none of us did. We were older, but we were older. I mean, I think, we were all like 18, 19 years old before we ever did anything.
Right.
That's
And
because
definitely. And nowadays, of course, it's younger. But I totally agree with that, too. I was brought up like that. And then, of course, what happened to me in my teens. But I think that also threw me off. You know what I mean? I didn't want no sex after that. I didn't.
Right.
That wasn't a good experience for me,
Right.
So it took me a while to get over that. But I think it was like probably like 20 years old when I finally said, okay, I'm ready for another, for a man. You know what I mean? But
right.
I mean, I'm fine now. I don't have any problem with, some people don't recover from it. And that's the sad part. So instead of that whole commission being out there to take these songs down, they should be reaching these kids and teenagers that, have been, because I don't know if y'all watching the news, and they can't blame it on porn, but there are so many men out there right now molesting children.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
to me,
have nothing
that's
to do with porn.
that's a big.
It's got
stress.
nothing to do with porn.
Right.
Maybe, but here's my thing. Maybe if you didn't make it so goddamn difficult for men to get their needs fulfilled, they wouldn't be victimizing other people, whether it's children or women, or whatever. If there are men out there that have wants, needs, and desires, and there's women out there who can get paid a substantial amount of money to give them those needs, so they don't go out and do those things. But yet you blame them. You blame porn and you blame the sex workers for making these men want that and do these bad things. No.
No.
They're getting their needs fed and met. Whether, obviously, if they're not getting met at home, they're going to find it from somewhere.
Right.
Right?
I actually watched this documentary one time that said that men who are attracted to underage girls, it's actually a chemical imbalance. Like, they did this study about the chemicals in their brains, and it's different than men who are attracted to regular,
women.
Actual age women, yeah.
And so I really feel that instead of, punishing these guys like they do, like just throwing them in jail and, of course they need to be in jail, but I think they need to be rehabilitated and they need, psychologists and therapy and all that stuff to figure out how to deal with those urges so they don't act on them.
I guess
Exactly.
I can understand that, but in a way I can't. Maybe, I don't know. I have a really harsh. I think they all should have their dicks cut off, honestly. Especially
that would stop them from having those urges for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
and it just, I understand, there's a lot of, look at the other crimes that, they don't even look at chemical imbalances for crimes that when people rob banks and stuff, and I can't make an excuse for it when, the latest one I seen was a 5-month-old baby. Really?
Yeah,
that's just, you should have your dick cut off, hung off in a tree, and bleed to death. Because thank God that child will not remember it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But thank God the child survived through it. But I think the after effects of child, you know what I mean? That's just, that person has to live with it. And
right.
I can't. And they got a chemical imbalance. There's so many things that are blamed, just like women being bipolar. Come on, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
20 people, they'll say 15 has bipolar. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, to me, I think for someone to do that, they have to be off in the head. They have to be. Something is wrong. And so they need to, of course, this person needs to spend the rest of their life in jail. but they also need to study this dude and figure out what is going on so maybe they can prevent it with someone else in the future.
Right. Oh, yeah. I can understand that because they do need to get down to it because I think the last couple of years I've seen that more than anything. And that really...
Well, and again, you know what? Here's the thing, Kelly. It's not that it's a new thing. It's just people are reporting the cases. This has been going on for
it has
as long as
doors and
the
people
beginning of time.
It
you
has.
know, it's not an uncommon thing.
It's just now they're getting caught.
You go back in history, it's normal. You know, not normal, but it's always been there. It's always been there. You know, and
you have to think about in history, like they used to marry girls off to grown men at 12 as soon as they started their period, basically.
Yeah, that's true too.
They were women hundreds of years ago. It was completely normal for a 30-year-old man to marry a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hey, that's not that long ago. And in other countries, it's the exact same goddamn thing. Still to this day.
Yeah. I mean, you know, there's some of the beliefs, like you said, other countries where men are allowed to marry 2 women or 3 women. You know, I think that's fine. You know what I mean? A lot of people think that's crazy. But the way I look at society, most men, out of, you know, at least 80% of them have cheated on their women.
Yeah.
So why not, you know, get 2 girls completely opposite, and then you got, you know what I'm saying, you got the little happy family, you know, and so
I agree with that. You know, my dad's was a marriage counselor. He's retired now, but he was saying that, you know, years ago it was majority men that cheated on their partners, but nowadays he said that he would say it's about equal.
Yeah, I have seen the women on the rise. Yep.
And so I just think, you know, I'm really like into reading and researching and like studying like human nature and sex and all that kind of stuff. And I read this book. It's called Sex Before Dawn, and it's a study that talks about how human beings are not wired to be monogamous.
No, and I fully agree with that. I've been saying that for years.
Like you know, monogamy came into play whenever people started inheriting land. Because people wanted to ensure that their family line inherited that land, and the only way to do that is to make sure that your woman isn't having sex with other people, and what if one of the kids that were born doesn't happen to be your blood?
Oh, that's true.
Right. That's the only reason that monogamy came into play, because they wanted to, well, there's 2, religion and then...
I was just going to say, religion is the other one.
Right.
So, religion's a big one.
Yeah, so those are the only reasons that we're all monogamous today, is because of inheritance and because of religion. If it wasn't for those 2 things, I'm sure it wouldn't be looked at like it is today.
Right.
So technically, because I have no land to inherit and I'm not religious, so then I can have as many lovers as I want. Sweet. I'm with it. I am all over this shit, man. All over it. Hell yeah. Hook me up with this bad boy. I am all in. Wait a minute, I'm doing that anyways, aren't I? Damn it. At least I can be accepted now. It's like, I'm all over that one. All over that one.
Yeah, that is
sure.
Crazy. And that's what I said, like that whole thing with the songs. I mean, you know, everybody has these wild fantasies, or they wouldn't have these categories, or they wouldn't have, you know, you get these questions like, where's the weirdest place you've had sex? Obviously, people are into that because they want to, you know what I'm saying? They want to have it in a different spot, not just a bed like mom and dad said. You know what I mean? You have
to... You need some variety and some spice. You can't have it boring and just vanilla all the time.
Right, absolutely.
You just can't. You know, like, get together, you know, if you have to be in this, you know, crazy-ass monogamous relationship, you might as well make it really good. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So... Turn on some porn that we've created for you and have some fun together. I used to love to play that game with my ex. It was, you know, way before I ever even remotely considered ever doing porn. We'd have this thing where it'd be like we put on a movie, and everything that they're doing on the movie is what we would have to do.
That's so funny. Right? I did that too.
You know?
I mean,
I think everybody at some point in time has done that.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
So,
and look how I founded this show. Remember I told you that I used to be sex talk, and it ended up being a soap opera of everybody asking questions about their relationships, and I just couldn't take it anymore. The energy was killing me. So this person that I was talking to, he watched porn. I actually think he had a problem with it because he watched it all the time, and I was like, okay, I know a lot of men that watch porn, but you are like obsessed with it. I said, he said, Kels, he said, you remind me of this porn star. I said, what you mean? He said, your personality, the way you are. He's like, there's just something. And that was when I told you about Sensual Sammy. He was one of her, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he used to watch all her films and stuff. He said, I think you should hit her up. And that's how this show started 2 years ago.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And,
but I mean, people have to, they need to have something, right? So, you're gonna sit there and don't put down the people who you're getting off on, because
exactly.
People opened up more.
If it wasn't for people like Jen filming it, if it wasn't people like me who's making it, you guys would be sitting at home with a baby, you'd still be sitting there with the damn Sears catalog looking at the freaking, intimate section.
Exactly.
All the models thinking, oh,
yeah.
what does she look like? But and it's so true. And I used to tell even couples, women were so blasé about, oh no, I don't want him watching porn while we have sex, or I don't want to watch porn because that means he likes the girl in the porn video more than me. I'm like, you idiots. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's not, it adds something to your life, especially when you're in a monogamous. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's adding something.
I agree with that.
You can't just do the same thing every day.
Right. I always say that the worst thing a woman can do is throw away her man's porn collection.
Right.
I'm
Absolutely.
like, you don't mess with that. Just because he's watching porn doesn't mean he doesn't love you and doesn't want you and doesn't desire you. It's just, why don't you watch it with him?
I'm going to have to post that after. That's a good post on Facebook. I'm going to have to put that.
Yeah.
Just leave it be.
Yeah,
leave it be. And encourage it.
Dirty Diva Entertainment.
Yes.
4 to 5. Do not throw away your man's porn collection.
Because you're basically shaming him and making him feel guilty about something that is completely natural.
Right.
Right. It's like shaming somebody for masturbation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, dude, unless you know how to take care of yourself, how are you supposed to teach your lover how to do it for you?
And that's why I used to buy my sons, like, just at Christmas. It wasn't like I bought them porn stuff all the time. But I just wanted them to know it was okay to, masturbate or whatever. That's not a bad thing if you feel that, I'd rather have you do that than go get 10 girls pregnant, you know what I'm saying? And have all these babies.
Right.
And,
well, exactly, and it's a human sexual, your nature.
Right.
You're a sexual being. So why shun it?
Yes, I mean, porn's also one of the things that's been around for thousands and thousands of years. So, in Pompeii, in Italy, where the volcano erupted and it kind of encapsulated the city in ash, and you can go back and see like everything as it was when it happened.
Wow.
They have found buildings where there's basically porn. It's not basically, it's porn on the walls, on murals, because that's how they did porn back then.
Oh wow!
They painted it on the walls. So, porn has been depicted on the walls and on paper for thousands of years, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll never go. Thank God for us.
Right.
Thank God for us, Jen. It's never going to go anywhere.
It's about that time, ladies. So, Jen, I want you, besides that one piece of, I'm going to put that out there, what is one piece of advice that you would give? Because I get a lot of people that ask about the adult entertainers, and me and Alexis have talked about this, how do they get involved? What is a piece of advice that you would give to anybody that's even thinking about doing porn?
My one piece of advice I can give people is to do your research.
Thank you.
That's
Amen.
It. Talk to people. Don't just talk to one person. Don't just talk to one company. Talk to anyone that you can get your hands on.
Right.
Yeah. Google. Also pay attention. Be observant. Go to people's Twitters. What are they posting? Are they posting positive, uplifting, hot, sexy stuff, or are they're bitching on their Twitter?
Right.
Like, what are they doing?
Right.
Look at who's in the market, do your research, and find the people who are there working hard, doing their job, and giving people what they want.
All right. Tell everybody
Absolutely.
where they can follow you, too.
You can follow me on Twitter at Dirty Diva ENT. You can follow me on Instagram at Dirty Diva ENT. You can find all the websites I run at DirtyDivaEntertainment.com. And that's about it.
So y'all definitely check her out. If you have questions, go ahead and shoot them to her. She's a busy person, so, give her some time. And that's a wrap. And also, if you all have any kind of topics or anything that you can, that you want to hear on the show, you can also send that to Alexa or my Twitter. And Alexa, your Twitter is Alexa Gray.
Alexa Gray 69.
And,
or on Instagram, I'm Alexa Gray 6969. And it's Gray as in Grey. I've had a few people try to message me at GRAYEY. So Alexa Gray 69 is my Twitter. So you can find me through Kelly's page as well.
Right. And January, I believe, is when we will be switching to Demon Seed Network on Friday nights. I think that's when it's going to be our final. I got the flyers done. You've seen that this week, and I got the logo done, the new logo, and I just got to write up the write-up now, and I think we should make it like for January. You know what I mean? Because I'm booking up the interviews now.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Well, thanks, Jen, for coming and joining us on here tonight. It was lots of fun chatting with you.
Well, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
I did too. It was actually awesome tonight because we covered like so many different topics, and I just had to bring up the one about because the songs are just really getting to me. Like that's just pushing it. I just think it's ridiculous.
That's just taking it to a whole new level.
Right. It's just like, are you serious?
That's next level bullshit right there, Kelly. Next level bullshit.
Right. Absolutely. All right, ladies, and you have a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you, Alexa, during the week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, everybody, and don't forget, definitely follow up with these people, okay? And make sure that you hook them up, and talk to them and everything, because these people are just like us. They're workers. They do this job. It's a passion. You can't blame them for things that are not what you think they are. So definitely check it out, okay? And have a great night, everybody.